Hello and welcome to this Come to Jesus Daily Devotional as we continue in the book of Ephesians. And today's devotional is entitled The Reward for Serving God. Continuing this theme of godly work, let's reflect on the reward promised for both employees and employers. Ephesians 6, 7-9. Serve wholeheartedly as if you were serving the Lord, not people, because you know that the Lord will reward each one for whatever good they do, whether they are slave or free. And masters, treat your slaves in the same way. Do not threaten them, since you know that he who is both their master and yours is in heaven, and there is no favoritism with him. It's Ephesians 6, 7-9. In Colossians 3, 23-25, we read something very similar. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. Anyone who does wrong will be repaid for their wrongs, and there is no favoritism. So as we finish our reflections on godly work, we see that all of us are promised a reward as we honour God. God, in the situations he has placed us, will reward us as we serve him in those places. If we will serve wholeheartedly and do so as though serving the Lord, not people, we are promised, because you know that the Lord will reward each one of you for whatever good you do, whether slave or free. There's great reward offered to the faithful. Whether we are employer or employee, our true master is Jesus, and he will reward us. None of us are entitled, but he gives us all the grace we need to do what he calls us to do in a way that warrants his reward. Let's look at the example of Joseph in the Old Testament. Joseph is a powerful, great example of someone who moved from being a slave to a ruler, from the lowest position to the greatest authority, because he was faithful to God in every season and situation. His life echoes Paul's words from 1 Corinthians 15:10. But by the grace of God, I am what I am. And his grace to me was not without effect. No, I worked harder than all of them. Yet not I, but the grace of God that was in me. That's 1 Corinthians 15:10. Yes, grace leads us to working hard. Anyone who uses God's grace as an excuse for laziness has misunderstood it. Grace does not make us passive. Grace empowers us to work diligently in the calling God has given us. Those who truly receive God's grace are strengthened to labour faithfully, like Paul, like Joseph, like many examples in Scripture. Let's briefly trace Joseph's descent and ascent. Firstly, he's favoured but humbled. Joseph is loved by his father, given dreams of leadership, but this leads to jealousy from his brothers. That's Genesis 37, 3-11. He's betrayed, sold. His brothers sell him into slavery. He's taken down to Egypt. That's Genesis 37, 23-28. He's faithful in obscurity in Potiphar's house. Joseph works diligently, and the Lord prospers him. That's Genesis 39, 2-6. Integrity under temptation. He refuses sin with Potiphar's wife and suffers false accusation. That's Genesis 39, 7-20. He's faithful in prison. Even in prison, Joseph serves well and gains trust and responsibility. That's Genesis 39, 21-23. He's patient in waiting. He interprets dreams, but is forgotten for a time. That's Genesis 40, 14-23. He's exalted by God at the right time. Joseph interprets Pharaoh's dream and is raised to authority. That's Genesis 41, 14 to 41, and rewarded with responsibility. He governs Egypt wisely, preparing for famine and saving many lives. That's Genesis 41, 46 to 49, and 53 to 57. God's greater purpose is revealed. What was meant for evil, God has used for good. That's Genesis 50, 20. So in response, Joseph's life reflects Jesus' teaching in Luke 16:10. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. Whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. Do we truly believe that God rewards faithfulness? In our work, whether paid or unpaid, including volunteering, studying, parenting, whether we lead others or serve under authority. Some rewards are experienced in this life, greater trust, influence, opportunity. Others are eternal and inheritance kept for us by Christ. So today, let's work wholeheartedly, serve faithfully, trust confidently. Nothing done for the Lord is ever wasted or overlooked, and no faithfulness goes unseen or unrewarded.